Om Shri Sai Ram Upanishad Vahini by Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba, Chapter 12, Brahma Anubhava Upanishad, or the essence of all Upanishads. Chapter 12. The Shrutis declare Ekam Eva Advityam Brahma, that is to say, there is Brahman alone, the one without a second, and at all times and in all states of experience, that is waking, dreaming and deep sleep, everywhere Brahman alone is. In the beginning, there was just Sat or absolute existence and nothing else, says the Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad. The Mandukya Upanishad names it as Shantam or eternal calmness, natural state, Shivam, or pure consciousness, absolute auspiciousness, Advaitam, or non-dual. All the transformed forms that we experience in the world are only appearances of only one absolute existence, Vivarataha. They are all illusory and unreal. They are no two forms. All the variety of forms that we see are the products of our kalpanas or projections and vasanas or tendencies. When the lamp is brought in, the rope alone remains but not the mistaken snake and is understood as such. So too, when one without the dualities examines the world in the light of the Brahma Jnanam, Brahma, the illusionary picture disappears. It is the duality that causes fear. If one is oneself, the listener, the seer, the doer, the enjoyer, how can fear arise? Consider the condition in deep sleep. The external world is then absent. We experience oneness without a second. We rest in that state of the Supreme Lord. Such is the experience of the supremely devoted Jnani or the enlightened one. Like the all-pervading Pranavayu or air, Parabrahman or the Supreme Lord or Godhead is eminent in the form of Chit or pure consciousness. Sat or the absolute existent, Chit, pure consciousness, Ananda, eternal bliss, Paripuranam or the absolute contentment and limitlessness, Nitya, ever existing, Parabrahman is described by these 5 attributes. By contemplating on these 5 attributes, Brahman can be realized. Sat is unaffected by time. It exists in all the 3 times. Chit is that which illumines and reveals itself as well as all else. One thing that is utmost desired and adored by everyone is Ananda. Nityam is that which is free or unaffected by Pragya Bhavam, Pradhavana Sabhavam, or the posterior non-existence or non-existence of an object after it is destroyed or lost. Anonya Bhavam, or the mutual non-existence or non-existence of an object as it is not like another object. And Atyanta Bhavam, Paripuranam is that which is free of Ichcha or desires or inclinations. Where there is fire, coldness cannot exist there. It means there is no coldness in fire. That is to say, away from fire, there exists a thing called cold. This is Atyanta Bhava. So, what is it that exists at all times? Paripuranam is that which is absolutely free from the limitations of space, time and object. The world is mithya or appearance. It is only just what the eye sees. Jiva should meditate on Omkara with the sole intention to bring about the 4 attributes Sat, Chit, Ananda, Brahman. From this very moment, start understanding that you are the Atma. When the fog of Ajnana or ignorance vanishes, the Atma in each will shine in its native splendor. All the appearances of objects we see around are like mirages in the desert sands, for all objects have beginnings and ending. So, all that is visible to the eye is not real. The mind becomes bound with attachment when it dwells upon an object or desires it or dislikes it. So, too, become free from the bondage of this samsara, that is sea of life, agitated with the waves of joy and misery. The mind should be trained to remain nishchalam or quiet or calm without dwelling on any object or desiring or disliking any object. So it is the mind that binds and unbinds. If dominated by rajas or passion and restlessness, it easily falls into bondage. If sattva or purity and goodness predominates, it can achieve freedom. He who feels one with the gross body pursues feverishly the pleasure derivable through the senses. Desire is the consequence of identification with the physical frame. Give that up and you are given up the desire. Joy and grief are like Sadguna or virtues and Durgana vices. Raga or affection or attachment and Dvesha, dislike and hatred are of the nature of Antakarana or the mind, the inner instrument. They do not belong to the Jivi or to the Atma, the essential reality of the Jivi. The Atma is ever pure, ever free from attachment, for there is no second to get attached to. The first mantra is in section 3 of Mundokana Upanishad says, 2 birds, ever together with delicate and fine wings, are perched on a tree. One bird is engaged in consuming the ripe fruit, while the other is sitting as a witness. In this example, the tree is the body, and the twin birds are the Jivatma and the Paramatma. One bird consuming the ripe fruit means Jivatma, experiencing the joy and grief as fruits or consequences of deeds it engages itself in. The Paramatma is subtler than the subtlest and is just a witness. How can this gross physical frame, composed of plasma, pus and other impurities, be the pure, the self-luminous, the ever-witnessing Pratagyag Atma, or the innermost self or Atma? This body is built up by food. This is ever in a flux. It is non-existent before birth and after death. It is perishable any moment. It exists so long it has prana or life force called Paramatma. It can live on without a limb or two, but the moment the prana stops its flows, it collapses like a log. So, do not waste your life by nourishing, protecting and treating the body as the chief or as the be-all and the end-all of life. Remaining only as witness to all the activities of the mind and experiencing Ananda or bliss merge in the Atma. This must be the ultimate aim of life. What is yoga? The state where there are no sankalpas or resolutions, desires, ideas and vikalpas, that is hesitations, doubts, choices. Yoga is for controlling the mind and its random movements. Yoga means the union of Jivatma and Paramatma. Through the practice of yoga, Pratagya Atma merges with Paramatma. Yoga cures all kinds of griefs and difficulties. He who steadily takes up yoga with firm faith and who cultivates intense viragya or detachment and strives for vimukti or liberation can certainly gain mastery in yoga. who is said to be the true form of Satchit Ananda, or the existence, consciousness, bliss. The one with Satya or truth, Vijnana, assimilated knowledge, and Ananda, bliss, as his nature is Satchit Ananda Swarupa, who is Vijnana Swarupa, the one who has Prasantata, absolute peace, and Parisubhrata, or absolute purity, as his nature. Vijnana is that which gives the actual experience of Atma Jnanam, awareness of the self. But in common parlance, Vijnana is used to indicate the sciences. In that Swarupa, true form, there is no room for vasanas or desires, tendencies, impressions. How can there be any desires? In the pure self-effulgent Paramatma, Manas or mind is the bundle of desires. In fact, desires impure the mind. Destroying the mind means destroying vasanas or tendencies. Be alone with yourself, and then the mind can be destroyed. It is for this reason that the yogis retire into concealed places to engage in tapas or penance. Vasanas fall into two categories: Subha or beneficent, and Ashubha or maleficent. Beneficent vasanas help liberation or japa, that is, repeated utterances of a mantra or name of the chosen deity, dhyana, meditation, satkarma, good works, danam or charity, dharma, deeds as prescribed by Vedas, Nishvartha seva, niswartha seva or selfless service, shama or fortitude, daya, compassion, and such others. These are all beneficent vasanas. Krodha or anger, himsa or cruelty, kama, lust, durasa, greed, swartha or selfishness, and such others are maleficent vasanas. They have to be uprooted with the help of the beneficent vasanas. Finally, as the thorn with which the thorn is in the foot is removed, is also thrown away, the beneficent vasanas that was used to overcome the maleficent vasanas that hurt are also to be discarded. Though the beneficent vasanas help in attaining liberation, they too have to be discarded by the Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated while living. Otherwise, they can bind him through many births. In a Jivan Mukta, qualities such as Indriya Ananda or the sensual pleasures, Trishna or cravings, Moha or delusion or attachment persist only as fried seeds which cannot sprout. They are burnt and destroyed the moment the Atma is realized. He will not be inclined towards anyone or anything, nor will he be attached. He retires for the night at the same location where the sun sets. He moves among men unknown and unrecognized, seeking no recognition. When the seer and the seen are both the same, the joy experienced is described as that of the fourth stage, the Turiya stage. After reaching this Turiya stage, one witnesses his own self or Atma everywhere. By Atma Chintana, or the constant contemplation of the Atma and its glory, the attachment to the world will fall off. This requires a lot of orpu or patience, incessant sadhana, or the spiritual practice, and antardhyatmaka chintana, or the inwardness and deep spiritual contemplation. Atma cannot be grasped by the weak-minded. The genuine sadhaka or the spiritual aspirant must, with all his resources, redirect the mind from the affairs of the world and the objects that entice the senses, and concentrate on the austere purpose of knowing the eternal Brahman. Tamsika resolution spell grief. Sattvika resolutions promote dharma, moksha and jnana. Rajasika ones plunge you into the worldly flood. Give up these three and then you become entitled to the state of Brahman and become a Brahmagyani. Brahman is of immeasurable or limitless depth. How can it be measured and comprehended by this limited mind? It is aprameya, beyond all possibility of being measured. It is aparichyana, without limit. It is avyapadesha, beyond denotation. To grasp it through the senses is an impossible task. I am that Brahman which the Vedanta expounds through bhaktya lakshana, or a defining word or statement where contradictory parts are left and non-contradictory parts are retained, and the concept of neti, not this, not this. My reality is the Brahman in the cavity of the heart. I am that Brahman which sadhaka strives to know and succeed in reaching through the practices such as sama, dhamma, tapas, satya or truth, brahmacharya or chastity. Brahman is that which remains after excluding the deha or the body, the manas or the mind, the prana, vital airs, and the medhas or the intelligence, understanding. This is the principle of neti, the austere discipline of negation. Bhagataya, bhagyata, yaga, lakshana is also called by another name Jahada Jala Lakshana. Jiva and Brahman are one, is the conclusion drawn through this defining statement. Lakshana, the meaning of the Mahavakya, great aphorism, Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art, or you are that, is demonstrated with the above mentioned defining statement with the help of the example Soyam Devadatta, that is that Devadatta. When the veil hiding the Jivi is removed, the Jivi is revealed as Paramatma or Parabrahman. The Jivatma is of the essence of Parabrahman. I refers to this reality, the Satchitananda. It is only ignorance that can use it. I to indicate the body. This ignorance is the cause of wrong identification of the physical body as Paramatma and of continuous chapters of grief and joy over many births. So, use the word I with viveka or discrimination to mean only Parabrahman. That will quickly win Atma Jnanam for you. For Atma Sakshatkaram, or the experiencing the Atma as your reality, Indriya Nigraha, or the control of the senses, removal of Deha Vasanas, obsession with the body and sensory pleasures, and Satya, or adhering to truth, are essential. The eternal Brahman is the Brihaspati, that is the prompter of the Buddhi, the Manas of the Manas, the ear of the ear, the eye of the eye, the illuminator of all through self-illumination. His splendor is the light through which everything else emanates. He is the basic support and sustenance. In the Manas, he is the knower. He envelops the inner instruments called Manas and Buddhi. Without him, the Manas and the Buddhi are helpless to function. They emerge from him and merge in him like grass that is born from the earth merges back in it. Iron becomes red in the company of fire. Water turns white in the company of milk. So too, Buddhi becomes resplendent with Jnana in the company of Parabrahman, who is Jnana Swarupa, form of self-knowledge. God is encased everywhere as the child is encased in the womb as unmanifest and imperceptible. Some declare, "Show me God, then only I will believe." This is the usual argument of the worldly minded. But it is not possible to see with gross physical eyes. The Paramatma, who is subtler than the subtlest, a powerful microscope, is needed to have a clear view of minute things such as atomic particles and microorganisms, isn't it? So too, to have the vision of Paramatma, either the Jnana Chakshu or the eye of wisdom, or the Prema Chakshu or eye of love is wanted. Only with these can you see God. Can you show others what the thing called pain is or sweetness is? The eye cannot see abstract things like prema or love, karuna, mercy or pity, sadguna, virtue, namika or faith. It is beyond its capacity. Love resides in the heart. But by words, actions and behavior, we infer that a person has love in his heart. So too, only based on Ghanata or supremacy, glory or greatness of Brahman, one can discover the absolute existence of divine Brahman, Divya Jnanam or divine wisdom, Devika Sampada or divine attributes, Prakriti Saundarya or the pleasantness in nature or temperament. Through these all, he can be identified and discovered. Therefore, endeavor by all means to earn either the Jnana Chakshu or the Prema Chakshu. Only then can one have a vision of the subtlest, all-pervading and eternal Brahman. Just as sugar in cane juice or sweetness in sugar, the Paramatma is ever eminent in creation. Parabrahman is Antaratma or the indweller conscious of all beings. He is everywhere, always, in everything. He cannot be grasped so easily. Atma is formless and immortal. Atma is Atanu, meaning without body. That is why it is called Purusha, the eternal and unchanging essence that pervades everything. Only by throwing off attachment to the body and purifying the mind and the buddhi can you earn Sashvata Anandam or the eternal bliss, Unata Prashanti or the highest Prashanti, and Utkrishta Vijnana or the purest and highest wisdom. Thus, only man can earn Vimukti or liberation from the bondage of birth and death. Deha, the word which means the body, is derived from the root daha, meaning that which has to be burnt. And it is common to cremate the body after death. But for Jnani, the Karana or the casual and Sukshma, subtle Sharira or bodies are burnt on three kinds of Hridaya Kastha or the fuel of true or divine knowledge: Adhibhautika, Adhidevika and Adhyatmika. They can burn and consume the Karana and the Sukshma Shariras quicker and more completely than fire. As is the thought, so is the man. So, man is transformed based on his thoughts. Howsoever informed a person may be, if he identifies himself with the body, he must be pronounced foolish. On the other hand, a person who is fixed in the faith that he is Sat, Chit, Ananda will be transformed into divinity itself. Do not identify the Jivi with the gross body of flesh and bone or even the Karana and the Sukshma Shariras. The Atma must be identified with the Paramatma alone. Then only can permanent bliss emerge. Joy and grief, good and bad, belong to the realm of the manas or mind, not to you. You are neither the doer nor the enjoyer of the fruits of the deeds. You are ever free. Dharma is Sadguna or virtue, Adharma is Durguna. These are products of the mind strings that bind the heart. So, as soon as these strings that bind the heart are severed, man attains the eternal Brahman. As the silkworm gets entangled and imprisoned in the cocoon that it spins around itself, so man too spins cocoon of wishes around himself, gets entangled and suffers. The Atma is ever disentangled. That is to say, it is a samsari, not bound by flux. Its nature is pavitra, pavitrata or purity. Sandeha, doubt, is jnana's enemy. Sandeha is the first derivation of jnana or ignorance. Where there is no ahambhava or egoism called I, there vimukti or freedom holds sway. Where there is aham or ego, their bondage persists. The I is the real shackle. There are three kinds of obstacles in the path of attaining Atma Jnanam or self-knowledge: obstacles of the past, the present and the future. These must be overcome. The Jivan Mukta is not worried over these. So, one should give up all the three distinctions of the seer, the seen and the sight and meditate with one unified thought on the omnipresent and self-luminous Paramatma. The threefold differences between the seer, the seen and the sight are manah kalpita or the mind's imaginations or assumptions or projections, the sadhaka or the spiritual aspirant who is beyond these threefold differences is a Jivan Mukta who experiences Brahman in all things at all times. Jai Sai Ram.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ